Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you how to make these beautiful earrings. So these are mermaid earrings. Let me enlarge this for you. There we go. There we go. So these are like fringe earrings. We start with a brick stitch and then attach these strands. And what I've done is I've mixed it with the Cylin beads from John Bead and some Miyuki cubes to give it a little pizzazz. I don't think I've ever said that in a video. Pizzazz. So anyway, I wanted to show you a few things before we get started, and then we'll talk about the supplies. To start with, my first attempt started with this one here. And I don't know if you can see how it looks like some scary, straw hair or something. It doesn't dangle at all. And part of the problem for this is I use some bonded nylon thread. So this is the thread I used. It has nothing to do with dragon thread itself. It could be fireline that you've used. It's just this thread keeps its shape and it's great for that. So, save your thread for that. I didn't know that I would get this kind of thing where it's all crooked. Now I did do something interesting is I took my, I don't know, they call it a heat gun. The heat gun, and heated it, and it actually helped it settle down a bit. I'm not going to do it now, it's a bit noisy, but you get the idea. If you want to try that, it worked. So that's a cool trick if you're stuck and you want to just relax the fibers, because they're polyester, they'll respond to the heat. Sorry about that. So we're going to put this one aside. This was our first attempt. We went to a second attempt. I did make a slight alteration to the design for this one as well. The other thing I want to show you that's really interesting is I got a bunch of these. I think they're listed as coloring books, but they're for creating patterns for yourself. So I was actually really impressed. I didn't realize this is the first time I've used it. Let me go back out here so you can maybe get the full effect of this book. So it was about, I want to say $10 Canadian, and it has 100 pages. I think it was between $10 and $15. I bought a bunch of different ones. So they have ones for peyote stitch, for round peyote stitch with a round, 2-drop, all kinds of stuff. And what I found too is at the front, this is really cool. I was not expecting this. They have a table of contents. So you can look up 9 bead, 11 bead, 13 bead, and 15 bead, and 17 bead. So I was like, whoa. And then you have the pointed fringe or the straight fringe. And it gives you the corresponding pages to that. So that was really cool. And then they give you some measurements with different beads, Toho beads, Miyuki rounds, and Miyuki delicas down at the bottom. So this is really, I was impressed. And then, so I haven't marked the one we're doing today. What I did was I took some of that white out and covered this area here. So if you see this and say, which page was it on, Emma? It was a made up page. So I took the shape that we're going to be using for this and just put it there, which it didn't give you the full effect because these should come up to about here. Let me show you. So in case you're wondering, this is a 13 strand, and with this circle, let me get the measurement for you so that you have an idea. I found it was perfect. It was only starting to turn on the edges, the slightest bit. So you can definitely use that. Let me see what we have here. It's 25. Yeah, 25. So these are gold plated. The other thing I like about these guys is they have the holes, so you can hang something in the circle, and then the hole to hang the earring. So let's show you what I have, like that. So in case you're wondering, all of my findings, unless I mention it, comes from BB Craft. So these huggy earring hoops, the Mermaid, and this piece here, this circle piece. So let's talk about the design. So I wanted to intersperse the cubes in there. So I started with the middle one and then worked out from there. Now, I did find my pattern was off of a 5-color pattern. So I have a gold, I guess I still need this so you can see. So if you look, and it's not big enough, I have the Miyuki cube, then 5 Cylin beads in between the Miyuki cubes. So I do that throughout. I use the 5 bead pattern, and as you get longer and longer, you just add another section of 5 beads and a Miyuki cube till you get to the middle, and then you decrease on the other side and basically do the same pattern. So follow the pattern you have on the others. I actually found this very confusing, and during the time of putting all the different colors in, I actually messed up a few places where I counted 5 instead of 5 and then 6. So that messed up my count quite a few times. And then when I went to do this, I found this was so much easier just to follow the other side, or to follow the previous one that I made, knowing that I needed 1 extra 5 set in here. So I don't know, let me know what you think. I think if this was like a bunch of different colors, I would have to get a ruler and go down each line. But again, here's the thing that I thought was a bit strange about the way it's set up. So it's set up as if it's hanging off of somebody's ear, but we don't make them that way. We make them from side to side. So say this is my ruler, I would have to go this way on my... Now, if I'm making it this way, it shouldn't be too difficult, but I would prefer to have this flip the other way so that I could be, taking my ruler and going down that way. But I mean, nothing's stopping me from turning the book around. Just saying. Anyway, I wanted to give you a bit of a review of, or not a review. Yeah, I guess a review of this product. So really good for that. I would like to see them sideways, but again, I can do that. It would be nice if these were perforated. That's the other thing, because when I make a pattern, I tend to carry it with me. I don't want to carry the whole book. So that's just me. And the other thing is I found these numbers not helpful. And I put that number there. I put 0, 10, and 20 because they only have the numbers. If you look here, they only have it on the one side. But when you get to this side, you don't want to have to go back over here to eyeball, okay, there's my 10, let's slide that way. That kind of thing. Let me know if you use these and what your opinion of them are. So there was just those 2 things. And again, those are 2 things that I can fix. I can put the numbers in myself. So, but I tend to do more detail than needed. So let's get started. I want to show you how to make this. This was so much fun and it turned out so beautiful. I cannot believe it. Oh, big thank you to John Bead. These Cylin beads are gorgeous. This color, I think, was one of the colors that was in the curiosity box that we got 2 boxes ago or 1 box ago. This one is called Matte Macaron AB Green Turquoise. Oh my goodness, it's really, really pretty, as you can see on here. So let's move this out of my way. And I was going to show you that this is 2 sets of those loops here. So you're going to need some type of loop, a 7mm jump ring, a earring wire, so whatever you decide to put, and then some type of charm. You don't have to have a mermaid charm. These are beautiful though. Yeah, I have to say they come in a set. I'm trying to think, maybe 6 or 10. They were different colors, different shades. It looks like it's resin in there. Let me enlarge this. So there's slight variation in these, so just be aware. I found I was able to find 2 of each that were kind of matching tones of color. You're going to need a size 12 needle, some scissors, and lovely Miyuki beading thread. I would recommend John Bead good thread would work too. I ran out. I have a terrible confession to make. I thought I had a second one, but it looks like this one was. There's something wrong with the last one. This was one that I got. I think it was on Carmi's desk. And when I use the threads come apart. So time to order some more. Oh, because I think it would work just as well with those. So I decided to go with gold. Here's the other thing. I don't like seeing the thread. And you know what? That's why I started out with this, because I like the nylon, thread that's been bonded together, because it's hard to see it on your gold. Like it just almost disappears. So that's why I use this one. Then once I realized I needed to use like a more kind of like a cloth one so that it drooped nicely. And you know what? Once the mermaid's in there, you can't really see it. So, and that may be just my little thing, because I've seen other people's designs and you can see the thread. It's just part of that design. You're going to need some Miyuki cubes. Those are 1.8 millimeter cubes. So let's put some out, and we'll move these guys off. And we'll use this one as our pattern. That's probably enough, actually. So you don't need a lot if you have a tiny bit left. Let's put those there. And some Cylin beads. And we'll get our thread. I'm going to take a wingspan. There's lots of thread left, so I wouldn't go any shorter than that, because you don't want to get to the end and you don't have enough string or thread. You don't want to mess with that on an earring like this, a fringe, because we weave this back and forth all the way through all of them. And you know what? I am going to use my magic thread that I got from the beading room. I have to tell you, this came highly recommended to me by one of the subscribers. If it's you, I apologize. I've forgotten names. I have to start taking notes, but anyway, she recommended it, and there was none left at Michael's, and just happened the beading room had some. So thank you to, it's Carol. So you just take, you can actually push it in to the groove here. Let me see if I can get that in there. Like that. And then put the cap back on, and then pull your thread through. And I cannot believe. Now, I'd say Miyuki thread like this, you probably don't need it. But I'm playing with all my toys today. My new favorite thing. Okay. Let's get that threaded with our size 12 needle. And I'm just going to slide my hand across that and grab your. Now, I'm sure there's ways to start this brick stitch. I've seen a few ways. I'm going to start it. It's a bit different, but I'm going to start it this way and show you how I do it. And you'd never know. There's no strands anywhere. So I'm going to pick up 2 of the Cylin beads. I'm going to pick up my loop and hold it like this, because we're going to use our thumb and index finger to prevent the beads from going through, but we're going to want our thread to go, our needle and thread to go on the other side, so that we can start going up and down. So what I'm doing is I'm going to leave a bit of an end so that I can weave that in. So we've got our 2 beads here, like that. So one bead is going to sit like this, and the other one's going to sit in the opposite, but we'll start with this one. So we need to come down the top of that bead like this. So get that one in there, and we'll just hang on to that second one. And I think I'm going to see if I can enlarge this a bit more. I'm sorry about the large fingers. There we go. Okay. So now we're coming out of this bead here that we've secured. We're going to go in through the bottom of this one. And we're just going to bring it up, because we're going to go down the other one. So I'm just holding that bead so it doesn't pop through the loop. Actually, I think I am going to go through the, where'd my needle go? It's still there. I'm going to go through and go back down through the other one. Like that. There. I probably went through it too many times on this side. It was a little cleaner on the first first earring. You know what? I'm going to go through the other side. There. And I'm just going to pull that so it's like that. So we're going to do 13 of these. This count is a 13 count. So let's go through here. Yeah, I went through this way too many times. So you should be coming out of the bottom of your Cylin bead. So pick up a Cylin. Some people tie it. That's why I was, when I had it the first time, it worked really nice. So now we're going to come down. There are some videos out there, and there are some people that do this really well. This is not my best. This is only my first time doing. I made some brick stitch earrings when the Cylin beads first came out. I made a whole bunch of them, and I just haven't had a chance to do them anymore. So I'm super excited to be doing them, but definitely my skills will get better. So pick up a Cylin. You're coming out of the bottom of the previous bead. You're going to go through the loop, but you're going to put your finger there to prevent that bead from going anywhere. Like that. Just know when you're trying to do something. Honestly, I know what I'm doing. So, next bead, you're coming out of the bottom of the previous. Hang on to that bead so it doesn't go anywhere. And then come down through the top of that bead, and I'll show you in a second here. So come down through the top with your needle, and you end up coming out of the bottom of that bead, and you can pull it tight so that it's on that loop. Don't worry about the position. Look, it's all wonky. It should be off to the side like that. Don't have to worry. You see how easy that was to move it. So pick up a Cylin, hang on to it, put your needle through the middle of the hoop, come through, then go down the top of that bead, coming out the bottom, and pull your thread tight so that it secures that bead. Go to the next one. Your thread would have been coming out the bottom of the previous bead. You're going to continue like that. And move some over here. A little easier to reach. Pick up a bead. Go through. We have a storm. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm hoping I'll be able to do a bunch of videos today before the power goes out. Now, one of the tricks I do to remember how many beads is I only put out that many beads in a little pile. So then I know when I get to the end of that. So let's count these and we'll calculate. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, and 3. So that's the end of this. So this is a really simple design to do. Go down through that bead. Pick up a bead. These are 11/0 Cylin beads, or Cylin, depending on what language you speak. I call it the Cylin bead. I'm allowed. Our poor Kitty got hurt. I don't know if I told everyone. I'll have to do a video of him. He fell off the bed jumping, and he scraped the back of his leg. Doesn't look like anything else is broken, but he was doing fine, and there's fur growing on it already. He's like really recovering well, And then this morning I noticed he's having a hard time. He's limping again. So this is the last one. So I'll tell Jax that you all said hi to him. My little monkey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's another hint I would tell you is count your stuff all the time. Because especially a pattern like this, you don't want to mess up. So let me see where I'm at here. So I'll use my needle as my ciphering tool, my measuring tool. I think it's still off, but we'll see. So, oh, jeepers. My hands are shaky. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's about right. Like maybe slightly off because there should be 13, so there should be a bead right in the center. Yeah, I need to move it down a bit. There. Okay, so now we're going to go back and we're going to add our second row. So we start with 2 rows. So if you know from brick stitch, we're supposed to pick up 2 beads so that we end up coming out of the correct bead. And go through here. So just pick up a thread bridge on that second bead. Bring your needle through. And pop those over. So now we're going to go up. And we're going to go down the other one as well. So we're going to go down the one we added. That. And then come up through this one here. And pull it tight, and you can see it snugs up there nicely. Okay, so now we're just going to keep adding. Now we just add 1 bead at a time. Pick up that thread bridge, go through it. You've got your bead there, ready to position. Just going to move this out for a second here, like that. Then go up through that same bead you just added. There, like that. Pull it tight. Pick up your next bead. Go through the thread bridge. Like that. Come up through the bottom of the bead you just added. Keep going like that. Pull it snug. And continue all the way along. So, big announcement. I never know if I should say anything. It seems so early. I've been invited to John Bead to create their Christmas box again this year. So I'm so excited. And excited to see everyone again. I think the first time I was a bit nervous. This time will be the real Emma showing up. The silly Emma. The crazy beater. There we go. So I'm really excited to see Isa and Carmi and Daniel, and all the folks on the marketing team, and everybody was so nice to me. People in the warehouse. So you could see how this brick stitch kind of thing would become addictive. It's very easy to do. I will work on my technique. Normally, when I'm trying something new, I will practice it over and over. And I practice it so that my hands aren't covering up the beads and stuff like that. So I make you a promise. I will practice and come up with some more exciting designs. I have these like very grandiose ideas about doing designs, and maybe we'll do one of these a month. And I am so busy. Like a few of you have asked, do I ever sleep? Not really. My office is right next door to the bedroom. And when I go to the bathroom, I sneak out to my office. And then I hear my wife say, "Are you coming to bed? What are you doing in there?" "Oh, I just thought of something. I had to put it on my desk so I wouldn't forget." I was doing that last night. I was getting some ideas. Oh, I have to tell you something. So there's 11 boxes left in the Best Friends Forever Curiosities box. And there are, I think, I want to say 9 or 7 boxes left of the Victorian Gothic. And I have a huge apology I kept calling it steampunk. I thought it was steampunk. I don't know why, because it's called Gothic, Victorian Gothic. So there, we're at the end of our, and you can again move this around to, if you feel like I feel like it's too high on this side, so you can just, there, that looks better. And we just double check, make sure we got all the beads we needed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I thought we might have needed a last bead here. So just grab that thread edge there. Put that in. And come up through the top. Snug that down. There. That. So actually we can thread this right now. I'm going to take another needle and pop that in so it's out of the way. The other thing with that magic thread, so let me know if you've used it, is that, or if you use something similar, let me know. It makes it easier to thread because all the fibers stick together. So where are we here? So let's come through the loop. I think I'm going to go through both of these. I want to close these up. You see there's a bit of gap because I had too much thread. Let's pull that through, and it came. And that's the other thing, is it's so smooth that your needle comes off. So you do have to hang on to your thread. In here. Go up the 2. And I'm just going to flip it. There. I'm going to go through just the one on this one. And we'll go up and then down. That top one. You have to pull it in a bit to get your thread to pop and hide. This one. The flash of the light in the gold is a bit distracting. There. Okay, that should do it. Put our needle, bring that in, and we'll cut this. Be careful not to cut your other thread. No, I'm going to do it right. Oh, no. My needle on my scissors. They're magnetic. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. Okay, so we're ready to start our strands. So let's take a look what we have here. I'm going to put some of these guys here. So I just moved the strands over. All of these are going to start with a Cylin bead. So the top row has at least one, and then the pattern starts. So let's get into position here. So we're going to pick up one Cylin, and this one has 3 cubes. So let's put those out. So we're going to pick up a cube and a Cylin. We're going to add 5 Cylin beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last cube. And then we have 3 beads at the end. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is what you have. Just remember, this is the top, this is the bottom. We're going to go through the bottom one, but we're going to skip it on the way up, and we're going to go through all the others. So take those down to your work. Like that. Okay, so skip the first one. And here's a hint too that I figured out is if you hold your thread down like this and then move with your needle. Okay, we're going to skip the first one. Get caught on the mat there. There we go, like that. Go through the 2, the cube, the 5s, the cube, the 5 Cylins. So just pay attention to make sure your needle's not bypassing beads. Go through. And we're just going to go through the bottom row, that first bead. Okay, so let's take your needle, hang on to your work like that. I'm hanging on to that first Cylin bead. It's at the bottom. Let's see. Try to untwist this because I think that'll affect the look of it. So just pull that in. Now, to get your correct tension, there was a video out there. If I come across it again, I'll list it. She explained how to get a nice drape of your beads. So you need a little bit of looseness at the top. Now, she talked about the threads lengthening over time, so not to leave too much. I think for something this small, it won't, the weight is not enough to make a difference. But if you had like a very long earring, it'd be different, bigger beads. So that is not the proper drape. It's still a bit, you can see it's like keeping its shape. So just grab your bottom bead, just kind of nudge it a bit like that, and then just get that to loosen. And you can see a little bit of a gap there. That's what you want. Now, you're going to have to readjust this as you go because everything's going to be connected to the other. So we're going from the first row, which is the first bead in there. We're going to go down the second bead. Through here, like that. Bring your needle down. I'm going to hang on to my thread so it doesn't pull the tension out. Like that. Now, hang on to this and pull so that thread disappears. There, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, it's nice and... Okay, row 2, or column 2. Because I have it interspersed, this one has 5 at the top, I think. 2, 3 is 5, yeah. So pick up 5 Cylin beads. These lovely green turquoise. 4, 5, a cube. We need 5 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a cube. That's 2 cubes so far. We need 5 Cylin beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our final cube for this row, we're going to put 2 Cylin beads after the cube. 1, 2. We're going to draw that all the way down. Like that. So skip the first Cylin bead, then go through all the other beads. If you can't do it in one pass, definitely just do one a little bit at a time. Especially as it gets longer. Okay, so there's all the way through. We're going to pass through that first bead. These are just tight because I put too much thread in there. Let me see if I can go up top. Yeah. So like that. Bring that through. Okay. And you can see there's a bit of a loop there. That's the down loop thread. So we want to just extend it. Hang on to the bottom one and that will stop it from, and just about there. So I think we need a little looseness on that. There we go. So now we're going to come down the third bead like that. There, I'm going to hang on to that. This one should pop in. Yeah. There. Okay. Go to the third. Okay, now we're going to do one. We have 4 cubes this time. So 1 Cylin, 1 cube, 5 Cylin, a cube, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a cube, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a cube. So that's a total of 4 cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 beads at the end. So pick up 2 Cylin beads. Bring it down so you can see what that looks like. Just eyeball it to make sure it looks like you got everything there. And hold on to your thread as you make your way up. And back through the bead you came down, like that. Pull that in. See if we can get that. Stop that from looping. Okay. That's nice and loose, I can tell. I think I'm gonna touch it a bit. I don't want to leave too much space there, so that tighten the other one. Yeah, a little too much tension. Just kind of work it through your fingers. Let's go down the 4th bead now. So let's move this one over. Down like that. Gonna tuck that in, but pull this out a bit. Okay. So this one has 5 Cylin beads at the top. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes. So let's get those cubes out. There. Pick up our 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A cube. Oh, one of those Cylin beads is not complete here, so let's move that out. That's the 2nd bead of all the beads I've been using with Cylin beads, all different kinds. So there's 3, 4, 5. So that's really good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A cube. And if we look at this one, we just have one single Cylin bead. Let me check the other side because I made a change to it on the other side. Let me see here. Yeah, it wasn't that one. Okay, so let's pull that through. And I'm going to tilt this a little so that you can see it. Hang on. Skip the first Cylin bead and then go through the Miyuki cube. go through all the beads after that. Yeah, I'm just not going through here. Let's pull these through. And go through the last beads. Okay. And we're going to go through the bead that we came out of. That. And work that loop out just by pulling the end. That lovely drape. I think we need to bring that in a little bit more though. Let's pull that. There, that should do it. We're going to go down the next bead. So we will continue to do this till we get to the last, to the middle one, which is the longest. And then I will pause the camera and do the other side. I would like to say, let me know if you want me to continue. But the video will be stopped by then. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one in line here. We're going to need 5 cubes this time. So this pattern should be easy. You always have 1 at the top, if not 5. And then you always have cubes being separated by 5 Cylin beads. And then at the end, you either have, the very end side was 3, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, like that. I tried to keep it so that it was a nice angle to it, but you could probably extend it longer. So this one here has just the 1 Cylin bead at the top, then a cube, then 5. 1, 2. There's 5. A cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a cube. Pick up your Cylins. Is there anything else that people want to see with the Cylin beads? I put too many there. 6. It's 5. A cube. Now I did do a peyote stitch heart for the Best Friends Forever. Let's move that out of the way here. So we need 5 Cylin. That's 5 and a cube, and we have 2 beads. So let's just quickly eyeball 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there should be 5 beads on each, and then the last 2. Like that. Hang on to the thread. Skip the first bead and then go through all the other beads. So this needle easily makes it through all of these. There's a bit left on it. You could use a longer needle too, if you like that better. There, nice, loose. Turn it around, go down. The next bead. Okay. And this one here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we start with 5 Cylin beads. Let's put the 5 out. 5. So that way it helps me keep track. So pick up 5. So you see there's 5 here. 3, 4, 5. Cube. Cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A cube and 1 single bead after the cube. Bring those down. I'm going to extend my thread here on my needle. There. Do it. Okay, hang on to your thread. Skip the Cylin bead. Then go through the cube. So you can see how much easier it is if you hang on to the thread. It just kind of like slides through. Just double check it's all in there. There. And bring that through. Perfect. And this will be the middle one. And then I'll pause the camera, do the other side for you. Hang on to your nice loose work and then pull that thread in. Oh, it tightened it a bit. There. Very nice. Okay, so we have this one here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cubes. So there's 5 and 6. Some of these Cylin beads. There we go. Okay, so this one starts with 1 bead at the top. Let's move this down so you can see it. 1, pick up a cube, then 5. So always 5 beads. I find, and maybe this is why I like beading so much, I find I like to make patterns with numbers. So definitely there was that going on when I came up with this pattern. Four, 5, cube. So that's 4. What do we say? Yeah, 6. 6 cubes. So we need some of these guys there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a cube, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a cube, and we have one bead left. So let's pick up that one bead. Bring that down. Move that over. Oh, look, we made a mistake here. This one's too short. This one should have had 5. Okay, so I won't go back up this one. I'll take this off and fix this one. Oh, I know you guys were yelling, Emma, you missed a section. Okay, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this one's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've only got 4. That's what it is. So there's actually 6 beads missing. Sorry about that. I will be right back. I'll have that all fixed and we'll put it together. I'm back. I'm ready for the end. One of the things I wanted to mention is if you make a mistake and you need to pull it out, rather than pull out all the beads, because you have them strung, you can always add to them. As long as there's no pattern mistake at the top, if this is the same but you need to add some at the bottom, all you have to do is take your thread off the needle and just pull the bottom bead and it will release the thread really easily. You still have all the ones you've counted and then you can add what you needed. So this fix was pretty easy. And I'm on my last one, which has 3 Miyuki cubes in it. So we'll do that one. We start with 1 bead, a cube, 5 beads, there's 5, a cube. I have company. The cat came to visit, but he couldn't get up on his little stool, so he had me lift him up. That's really strange, like unusual for him. We'll keep an eye on him. Okay, this is the last, oops, of those. Sure I don't lose my thread here. Let me move these guys out of the way so I don't knock them all over the place. Okay. Thread out of the way, bring those down. Skip the first one, and you know what? I made that mistake on one of my passes. Is I forgot to. I forgot to skip it, so of course I was like this far away from the thread coming out and all the beads coming off. When I caught it, I was like, oh, thank goodness. I think the kitty cat's having a hard time getting comfortable. And come up through there. On. And loosen that. Oh, look, I forgot to pass through one. Let's come back out. Had to open the door for the cat. There we go. Go through these final ones. And we'll just weave the end through. Get the right tension first. I do find the shorter ones, there's not enough weight to them, so they don't kind of, look at how nice the bottom ones dangle. But that's just the weight of it. So I think I'm going to go up back side here, but come through the, and make sure that one's, it gets tight when you're moving things around. Sorry about that. If I don't close my door, my wife comes in here and never know what's going to come out of her mouth. She's one of those girls. So we're just going through the brick stitch beads to weave our thread. Make sure that's loose. Okay. I'm going to go up. Just the one and down, and of course it is definitely better to do this on your mat like this, because then you don't hook onto the loops. There. So I'll go down and up, and this time I'm going to go all the way up on an angle, go through the top one. That should be good enough. Grab my pliers. Make sure these didn't go around anything. There. Just be careful cutting threads, always. There. I feel like this one's even nicer than the other one. I feel like this is off center. Try that now. That's better. Okay, let's put this together. Get the other pair of pliers. So take your jump ring. And I'm just using, I said a 7, I think that's a 5. Do you know what? The other one might have been a 7. Just gently twist it open. You know what? I'm going to put it on the loop first. I want to make sure it's correctly orientated. There. Find it a little awkward putting the middle loop through. Not sure why. It's one of those days. Okay. Up there. And gently twist it back. Squeeze when you're twisting it to make sure that loop gets closed. That is lovely. And this one here, these have really wonky loops, but they're so lovely, I can't complain. Open it as much as I can. Make sure you get the crystals to the front. Like that. And then we'll try and close this. There we go. And this one is a bit off here. It should click in here. Let's see if that does it. There we go. Wow, that turned out really nice. Let's open this up a bit. There. Yeah, these are pretty. There you go. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the next video. If you have any suggestions for what I should try next, and let me know if you've tried the beaded books. Let me see, what do they call it? 100 pages of blank double, and it's double-sided too, I think. Yeah, so 100 pages, that's a lot. Awesome. Take care. Bye.